all over here at the Tonbridge Surfacing Stadium. A disappointing 2-1 loss today for Chippenham. Gary, talk us through your thoughts on that one, mate.
Yeah, I was encouraged by the performance after the sort of first 15-20 minutes, bearing in mind we had to make some changes today in terms of personnel, obviously, and then shape. So we only had obviously the Thursday night really to really work on it because of the game Tuesday. So yeah, first 15 minutes, well, first 45 I thought we were a bit flat, but like I said, probably from the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes onwards, we were more than in the game, and obviously they scored in their spell where we were probably not, I'm going to say, at it. But yeah, then after that, I think once we, second half we were a bit brighter. Matty scored, and then we looked like the team that were going to go on to win the game. But like I say, encouraged by the fact that we've had to give debuts out to Dan Edison today, and we've had two 18-year-olds play centre half. Against, like I say, a really good side, a really well drilled in and out of possession. So they're a difficult side to play against. Don't concede many chances, and they're a real threat on the break. So I was encouraged really, like I said, given like I said, those scenarios. So and then for the penalties, a really big call by the ref. I think without using the cliche, there's probably 8, 9, 10 of those that go on a game that don't get given. So I think it was a really big call, and yeah, probably, and then obviously, like I said, at 2-1 we still have loads of chances to go and get something out of the game. So yeah, encouraged by the performance.
I think it's important to touch upon those kind of points, Gary. You say it's a big call from the referee. There seems to be a lot of clamour around the ground from not only Chippenham supporters but Tonbridge fans and also players and their bench and their management that seem to have come off there. We've got away with one there. I think normally a big indicator of whether a penalty may or may not be a penalty is the appeal. Not a single supporter, not a single player. The only person in the ground that seemed to think there was a tug on the shirt in the motion ahead and the ball was a referee, and he's had a shocker, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
Again, I always try not to talk about the referees if I can, and yeah. So look, do I think it's a penalty? I don't. As I said, I'm not throwing any of them under the bus, but the linesman certainly hasn't given it. He certainly hasn't seen anything. The referee's right on top of it. So he's given a penalty. So look, he's given that. Whether or not as I said, I think it was one, or anybody else in the ground thinks it's a penalty or not, he's given it. So that's the fine margin. So yeah, look, I was encouraged by the fact we went 2-1 down and continue to ask questions of them, and like I said, had some really good chances, and but for some really heroic defending from them, a number of blocks, I think from Jake Evans, a couple of others as well that have gone in from Tyreek, and those, we probably go on and still win the game, and we're in the ascendancy.
Difficult to talk about the positives in the aftermath of a bad result, Gary, but you say there are positives there, and I think one of the bright sparks today, he picked up the LIT Fibre man of the match with Dan Edison. He was probably not expecting to feature this early in the season, but a player that you've shown a lot of faith and a lot of trust in coming out of the 19 setup. He's gone and spent a bit of time with 𝗣cie, although admittedly not as much time as he thought he would have got, but he's come in today, he's played a full sort of 95, 96 minutes and looked very accomplished, and to be fair, almost snatched one right at the death there with the equaliser as it come over on the volley, and that really would have sealed the deal.
Yeah, look, he's a good player. Look, there's no point having a really sort of decent under 23s if you can't use them and make the best of them. So he's been out getting some men's football at 𝗣cie, and look, he's coming today, made his National League South debut at the age of 18, and as I said, can be really pleased with his performance today. I thought he was good. Like I said, first 15-20 minutes to be expected. Both him and George were getting to grips with the pace of the game and the conditions, I'll say, because again the new balls seem to be travelling too well. We're seeing people step on the ball and sticky, and so there were a couple of sort of sticky moments in that first sort of 15. But after that, I thought they, not just Dan but George as well, acquitted themselves really well.
It's difficult to get them all in, Gary, but we'll have a quick rundown of the guys at the moment that are absent. You try and hopefully give us as best as we can a sort of update. We saw 𝗍𝗓 obviously back on the bench today. I think the general consensus is he's nearly there, isn't he?
Yeah. Hopefully, Luke Haynes was badgering me for 3 or 4 weeks, even when he had a broken leg to play. So look, that's the type of attitude we want. So it was borderline whether to chuck him in today, but I don't think it would have been the right thing to do. He's only just coming up to 5 weeks with his injury, so he's had the all clear to play. But yeah, look, as I said, Dan's come in and done really well. So. But yeah, Luke's fine. He'll probably get some minutes this week for the 23s on Wednesday, and then, like I said, hopefully, he'll be able to be in contention for Saturday.
Big one, Aaron Amadi-Holloway. He was forced off on Tuesday with what looked to be a slight niggle on his leg. Didn't play today, but he was here. He said that he felt okay. Aaron, how far away do we think, or we reckon he's back in as well?
Hopefully he'll be able to be involved next Saturday, but we'll have to see how it sort of settles and reacts the next couple of days, really. So yeah, he's got a niggle just in behind in the lower hamstring. So another one who's a big player and who started the season really strongly. So yeah, he's a big miss. So hopefully we're not without him for too long. Hopefully Saturday, if not, I think worst case scenario maybe the Dover game.
I think suspensions will kick in now for Spokes. Picked up the card on Tuesday. Nat Williams, he's missed today through suspension. Is that a one game for Nat, or was it 3 with 2 yellows? Yeah,
so Nat will be available for selection on Saturday. So that gives us a little bit of balance on the left again. But it's one of those. After today, do we move it round or not? There's 2 people probably claiming the rights for the shirt, really. So we'll have to look at that. But yeah, Nat becomes available for us this weekend. So as I said, it just gives us another solution to any questions we might get asked.
And stepping ahead obviously to the weekend, Gary, it's Braintree. It's a tricky place to go. You've been to a couple of tricky places this year already, haven't Torquay? It's never one that people really look forward to, is it, Braintree away? It's a difficult place to go. The crowd will get all right on top of you. It's a long trip, but you must be really sort of galvanised with the fact that these boys have really shown you their response levels in terms of when they're in adversity, they always come back and fight for you. And if you need a place to go and have a fight, Braintree ain't a bad place to go. Yeah,
I don't know. It's a tough place to go. Andrew's done a really good job there. So they're set up really well. They're difficult to play against, and they're a good side. So without going down the cliched route of saying there are no easy games in this league, there aren't. So it's a tough place to go, whether you play them at home or away. They're all tough games. Made tougher, like I said, when you're missing key players or missing players. But yeah, look, we'll have a look at this week and see if we can patch a couple up and see who becomes available and try and go there and bring something back.
Good stuff. Well, Gary, commiserations for the result today, mate, but a great start to the season. Hopefully you guys have got all the stuff ready for you in the week to go and get a good result up at Braintree. Well done for today, mate, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers. Thank you.